Yes, sorry, yeah.
Good evening, Blues, and welcome to the Manchester is Blues show. We have 10 minutes until we find the team news for Manchester City versus West Brom. We have Brian. Hey?
I thought it was tomorrow.
No, tonight, mate. No, it's tonight, mate. We kick off in like an hour and 10 minutes. Are you?
I didn't know that.
You're joking. Breaking news. City kick off a day early.
That's a nice surprise for you, that, Dan.
Oh, is that a nice surprise or a bad surprise? That's not like you, that, mate. You're usually right on the ball.
I know. For some reason, I've just had it in my head it was Wednesday. I've just completely missed the intro up, right? But
the problem is, as soon as you said it, I was like, "What? Have I said something wrong here? Is it tomorrow night?" I always question myself. That's hilarious. No, we have now 14 minutes until we find out the team news for the City West Brom game tonight, Daniel. So you've not had 25 hours to think about it. I could have just left you to it, couldn't we, and gone from there. We're gonna while you're reeling, Brian. What do you think what team we're gonna see tonight, pal? It's got to be a strong team tonight, hasn't it? It's got to be a strong team.
Yeah. I mean, every game now is a game we must win, regardless of the opponent. Has to be best team available. Let's go.
Has to be, done it. Absolutely has to be. Dan, what team do you think we'll play tomorrow night, pal?
Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I don't know what squad's travelled. I'll have to wait until I get off the coach tomorrow as well, or who will get us on it. But no, hopefully, Mr. Phil Foden makes his 100th City appearance tonight.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
He's with KDB out for Kevin De Bruyne. No, that's right. I said KDB. No, yeah. Right. He's arguably been our best player over the past couple of weeks by a merry mile, Phil Foden. So he's definitely got to be in. West Brom are going to be a tough opposition. I know they've not exactly had the results under Big Sam they're expecting to stay up. But you know, at the same time, West Brom are also our bogey team.
Yes.
So fingers crossed we can get a good, comfortable win, clean sheet, no more injuries, please, and see how we get on tomorrow night.
Right, so here's my team that I think we're going to play. Ederson, Zinchenko, Tick. Diaz, Stones, Cancelo, Rodri, Gundogan, Bernardo, Sterling, Jesus and Foden. That is what I'm selecting, and that's who I would play tonight. Obviously, we've not got Sergio. He's injured. Kevin De Bruyne. No, sorry, Sergio's COVID. Sergio's COVID. Kevin De Bruyne's injured, and Ake is still injured. So those three definitely haven't travelled. Brian, what are you thinking, pal?
I feel like if Walker's fit, he's in, straight in, and Cancelo will go to the left. Other than what you said, I think that is the only change I could make to that team is that putting Cancelo on the left-hand side, because other than Foden, he's one of our most informed players at the moment. He's having a real impact on his team, so I think he has. If there's a chance for him to be involved over somebody else, I think he has to be that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And how do you think the game's going to pan out tonight? This is one of those games I spoke to you last week, wasn't it, Dan, where we need that first goal. As soon as we get that first goal, we're gonna ship straight into it. But it's that first goal that's going to be a key one tonight, Dan. What do you think?
Exactly that. West Brom are going to be tactically aware. I know they're shipping goals at an alarming rate and also not scoring as many goals, but they are prone to be a bit of a nitpicky team in the opening first half, really. You know, teams struggle to break them down in the first half, and it's normally the second half that teams come good against them. But again, it depends on which City turns up, because, you know, we've been lacking with goals, but our defence has been quality. So I don't think we'll concede, but we win tonight, we go top. So this game is massive. So I think the players have got to just empty the mind and just think tonight, 90 minutes, goals. That's all we need. Goals.
We really need to get into them and hit them hard in every which way. We need that pressure mounting on them today. We've got to accept that West Brom are going to have 10 men behind the ball with one floating in midfield stroke, going into forward positions. Do they have any threat against us? I think I mentioned on yesterday's Monday night show with the lads from Discord that actually I think they scored like 15 goals, 12 goals or something like that. I'll get the league table up now. But, you know, looking at them going forward, it doesn't have that much threat. I'm looking at what they've been doing, but which worries me in the same instance.
Their only threat really is what a typical Sam Allardyce's team is set pieces. Got centre backs who score regular-ish. You know, Ajayi's quite a bit of a threat for them. He's only a young lad as well, so you got.
What's his name?
Ajayi.
Yeah.
Those lads, you know, they're not. I would have thought it's going to be one of those sort of games where we've got 75-80% possession. We need to get an early goal, and we need to. I know that they've got some really, really good centre backs who want the ball in the air. But we've got to do it. You've got to put these balls across to stretch them. You know, if we just tick a tackle it across the box from one side from Sterling across the middle to Foden a little to try and get in, we're never going to get behind them. We need to onslaught them, which is something we don't really do. But this is the only way we get the advantage over teams like West Brom early. Is a bit like Man United used to do: pressure them, get an early goal, get a second goal, game's done. 20 minutes, game's over, and then we can just tick through. You know, the longer the game goes on, 0-0, 30 minutes, 45, up to an hour, then we're the desperate team, and that plays into their hands because they'll a point to them is so valuable. So they'll be ready to just defend for 90 minutes, and we have to really get stuck in here and make that defence move left to right as fast as we can, make them slide across the box, do all sorts of stuff just to try and get half a yard. I think that is the only way we're going to beat these comfortably is by getting at them from the first minute.
See, we're going for our 18th unbeaten game tonight in all competitions. The last time we lost was 2.5 months ago. We need to be taking that positive mental attitude right into this game. We are not going to be beaten tonight. We are going to win tonight. We are going to score goals tonight. Part of me, I think I've put Sterling in here, and I've captained Sterling in my fantasy football team. He's due goals. I'm convinced he's going to score tonight. I don't know why. I've got this blind faith that he's going to do me a favour.
Mahrez is going to start now, isn't he?
But then I put here. I don't think I put Torres in position first. I really want to see Torres tonight. But I just think there's something about Sterling that's going to click tonight. God, I hope so. Come on, City.
I think having him on the right hand side and Foden on the left they're going to have to get him behind. They are going to have to go up one-on-one against their fullbacks. You know, you don't want the Sterling on the left and Mahrez on the right coming inside and knocking it across. You want them balls going across all night.
I can see tonight's lineup being Foden more central in KDB's role. Ferran Torres being striker, Mahrez and Sterling. Jesus rested on the bench. So he had a full 90 minutes, didn't he, against Cheltenham? He didn't have the best of games.
Do you think that's lack of game time for Jesus?
No, I think it's positioning. It's the energy is 100% there from Jesus. I cannot take anything away from the energy, the work rate he's got. But you saw when he went through one-on-one with that keeper. Great touch to bring it down to be one-on-one with Cheltenham's goalkeeper, but he should have been found in the back of the net from that. You at least have a better chance.
I don't think you can read too much into those FA Cup games in terms of individual.
No, but he did a hell of a lot of work to get in that position. I mean, the touch was world class. There's only a few players that can bring the ball down the way it was played over to him with that touch. But he should be found in the back of the net, or like I say, having a hell of a lot better chance and testing the goalkeeper a hell of a lot more. But I still believe his role is out on the left. I've seen a lot of people criticising him to the point where they don't want him in the team anymore. You know, the whole club, they want him sold. I can't remember a player that, like Jesus, that doesn't put in 9 times out of 10 100% effort, and we do lack it when he's not in the team in terms of that effort, but he's more effective on the left, hands down.
I think Jesus is a victim of how good Aguero is.
Yes.
You know, Aguero, take Aguero out of the thingy. Everyone, there's quite a lot of negativity about Jesus and how he can't do this and that. We've got to remember, we signed a guy when he was 18. He's only been playing football 2 years. He's come over there and he's settled in quite well. And to be hitting the numbers he has been, 20 goals a season. You know, he's got, what is he, like a goal every 1 and a bit games? Nearly one every 2. I don't know what the exact stats are, but to have them sort of hitting those sort of numbers whilst you're understudied to arguably the greatest foreign footballer ever to play in the Premier League, goal scorer, should I say?
Team news. Who would like to hear it?
Go on then. Carson in goal.
Oh, so close. Oh,
What, Carson?
so close. Oh, 1-0. Sorry, right. So team news: Ederson, Cancelo, Diaz, Stones, Zinchenko,
Yes.
Gundogan, Bernardo, Mahrez, Foden, Sterling, who's the captain tonight. Oh, so Jesus has been Jesus has been dropped and Mahrez has been put in that place instead. So bloody close. Go on, sorry lads.
Did you only say 10 players then? Or is it me missing one?
Rodri out, but I think that's a given.
Rodri.
Did I not say Rodri? Sorry, yeah, no, City only played with 10 tonight. Sorry.
Hey, if they're only playing 10 tonight, imagine who's playing tomorrow for them.
I love it.
Good team.
Right,
Good team.
thoughts on that team, Dan? Give us your initial impression, pal.
Strong, very strong. Again with the double pivot in Rodri and Gundogan, liking it. Zinchenko getting his 6th start of the season. Only 4 more to go, and I've beaten you to that.
It's a given now. That's a given now, that mate. That's a given that. Yeah, it's a given.
Interested to see Cancelo overtaking Walker though for first choice tonight. I would have thought Walker with his pace and his.
That must still be an injury issue. That's got to be. He's not 100% fit.
False, yeah. He pulled his hamstring, didn't he?
Yeah, it's
pulled something with his knee.
So to tell you, he's on the bench though. On the bench, we've got Stefan, Walker, Jesus, Laporte, Torres, Mendy, Fernandinho, Garcia, and Bernab. So actually, he's fit enough to be on the bench, but he's obviously not 100% fit as compared to Cancelo is. Cancelo.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. And well, in a game like this, actually, it probably works better out for Cancelo to be ahead of Walker and Walker be rested because West Brom aren't pacey in the counter attacks. They're more of a possession, move up the pitch type team. We don't expect them to come at us, so we won't need the pace of Walker at the back when we go up for our set pieces or anything like that. So Cancelo being a bit more ability-wise, tactical defending, I think that will play more into our hands. It's a good selection, actually.
This is an interesting one, isn't it? So we're obviously going for it here. Sterling's playing. Really excited that Sterling's playing. I hope he has a worldie tonight because Raheem, I have put a lot of the on you tonight, my mate. Come on, lad.
I mean, looking at that team, you could read that formation as 2 centre backs, 2 defensive midfielders in Cancelo and Zinchenko. That will be the formation for tonight. You will see they will not be playing on the wings. They will be playing defensive midfielders, and then you're looking at them that midfield 4 of Rodri, Gundogan, Foden and Bernardo, and then you have Mahrez and Sterling literally straight down the middle.
So we've got Foden making his 100th appearance tonight, 100th senior appearance tonight for City, and he's also our top goal scorer.
And he's only 20.
And the media's still saying that he's not getting enough game time.
It's not just the media. It isn't just the media, though. It's getting this narrative from the fans about how he's being mismanaged and stuff. It's coming from within us as well. We've got to hold our hands up and say there's a lot of people out there that are not good enough.
Tom will back me up on this. I've said nothing, but I think Pep's managed Foden very well for his career. I've said it on nearly every podcast. I think the way I was a bit miffed at first, when we had Silver going back home to see Matteo when he was born and everything like that, and we were lacking that creative spark. I thought Foden should have been there, so I was a bit frustrated there. But when you see the development and the easing in, normally, especially when Silva left, we were all expecting Foden to be thrown right in at the deep end. And having those few games out, watching the team without David Silva and knowing what he could bring to the team, I think that's improved him ability-wise, and he's really starting to show it now, isn't he? He's absolutely on fire. And
I think playing on the left-hand side, which he has been doing a lot, he's got so much freedom. He's not required to be the midfield pivot, is he? We've got some really good senior players there in Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne in the middle. We don't need Foden. He's out on the wing. He's like, get the ball at your feet and just a final third, do what you want.
Exactly.
Be the young kid on the streets just running, taking people on, up and down all day long. That's why he's excelling.
I wonder if we'll see him centre forward tonight.
I think it'll be Mahrez. I think Mahrez will be the one in the middle.
Do you? That's an interesting one. Not Sterling. All 3 of us got a different idea there. I was thinking Sterling.
I don't know if you noticed in the last few games, Mahrez, when we've been playing with a false 9, always been coming in the middle a bit. I must admit, I'm not a fan of the false nine. I'd rather have an out of form, unfit Jesus there just to occupy centre backs. You know,
I see it coming though. Especially with Pep's Barcelona teams, he never played with a proper striker, did he? You know, he worked the team around.
You don't play with a striker, but you got like 2 extra men with Messi's.
He's overrated.
Do you think that Pep is compensating for De Bruyne with Cancelo and Mahrez being in the team? A bit of extra assisting threat.
I mean, you'll see Cancelo playing in that right side of midfield role today. You'll not see him on the left-hand side. Right back, you won't see him there at all, really, apart from in formation when we need to be defending. Other than that, you'll see him a lot in that right-hand side of the 3.
But then that makes me wonder, are we just going to play with the one defensive man in midfield in Rodri and push KDB, Foden and Bernardo in that more of attacking front 3 and having Cancelo dropping behind them to mark with Rodri? Add a bit of pace in.
The way it works is one side, when the ball's on the right side of the pitch, it'll be Zinchenko and Rodri. And then when the ball's on the left-hand side of the pitch, it'll be Rodri, Cancelo. That'll be it. The full-back will drop on one side and go on the other, and the other one will have the license to run. I think the guy will be filling Kevin De Bruyne's attacking midfield role. It'll be Gundogan. He'll be the one that is making these runs forward because that is his natural game, is attacking number 8. That's his role there. I think having somebody on the form like that, Gundogan will just step forward and he'll just be. He'll be no one's going to be near as good as De Bruyne, but Gundogan will be comfortable stepping forward with that. Those quick passes around the corner and the angles, one touches. I think that's what Gundogan will be doing while De Bruyne's out. He'll be the one that steps in.
In the nicest possible way, I hope you're completely wrong. Right. I hope it's Foden. I really want to see Foden.
Yeah, he'll be out wide.
But I want him to be in that central midfield. The way he takes on players, especially on the left. Imagine if he was 1-on-1 with the back 2. He'll get past them with ease, and then he's just through on goal. Brilliant. Foden out on the left, he's done all the work to get past 2 or 3 players. And then he's still got the centre backs to worry about, and then the goalkeeper.
I want him on the wings, skinning people. I want him to turn people inside out.
Yeah,
on the wings.
I agree with that. Actually, I agree with that. He's got the ability, he's got the pace, he's got the touch.
Yeah, if he comes in and drops in, we saw what he did against Cambridge. That little run across from one side into the middle. In a year or 2 years' time, they'll be going in. Them sort of chances will be going in. But at the minute, he's in a team and he's on the left-hand side. He's made that position his own. I can't see Sterling getting in front of him. We had this conversation a few months back about how Foden gets in the team in front of Sterling. I think it's a case now of Sterling can't get on the left-hand side in front of Foden. Hence why I think you'll see Sterling on the right-hand side today and going forward.
I think you're both wrong, but fair enough.
I think that's a theme, isn't it, of this podcast? Just disagree.
Oh, I always disagree with everyone, no, mate. To be fair,
there's nothing wrong with opinion. If everyone said the same thing, it'd be hella boring. So yeah, don't worry.
It's not opinion. You're just both wrong.
I think you'll find on the heat map that Foden will play more in the wings. I am absolutely convinced of that. I am convinced of that. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this. That team's made me a bit excited about tonight. Oh, what's your score prediction, lads? Come on, be realistic.
I'll let you go first, Dan.
Are we home or away?
Away.
Away. Oh, in that case, bloody hell. Oh, I was going to go for a comfortable win, but now we know we're there. Tight affair, 2-0. Both goals coming in second half.
2-0 City, I assume. Who's scoring your goals, Dan?
Gundogan and Foden.
Okay. Brian?
Looking at West Brom lineup, they are probably just a solid 4-4-2. That'll just be banks of. So it's going to be a case of we'll have a clean sheet. I'm going to say 3-0, couple for Foden, penalty for Gundogan. Keep it ticking over, nice clean sheet. But we need a goal in the first 15-20 minutes to be able to make that score happen. Otherwise, it'll be a tight game like it was the last 15 minutes goal, and I think 3-0.
This is the perfect game to say, right, Dan, like I say every game, clean sheet. I love a clean sheet. I absolutely love a City clean sheet. And if we get a clean sheet today, I think we'll win. Bonkers to say that, I know, but I just think we're going to have too much for them to just hold out for 90 minutes. I think we'll be able to take it up a gear when we need to. If we get the first goal in the first 15 minutes, we just need to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. And I think we'll do well. But I'm not giving a prediction for obvious reasons.
I think that kind of attitude now is very similar to the way Man United were in their heyday under Ferguson. They would get an early goal and they wouldn't stop until the game was dead. 3-0 after half an hour, done. And then you can do what you want. You know, you clean sheet, the game is won, the 3 points are done, the confidence is in the bag. Roll on to the next game. I think that is having the ability now to keep clean sheets for fun. We have to be ruthless and smash teams early. We have done it before, and I think now we've got the basis, the fundamentals of the defence. Now we have to be able to ruthlessly smash these teams early.
I think that's something that's completely changed from the beginning of the season as well. That I think you're absolutely spot on, because at the beginning of the season we were doing that in the first half. We were beating teams comfortably. It's Wolves, the prime example. You know, what was it, 3-0 up or something like that in the first half or something? We were absolutely dominant, and then the second half we didn't play our game and we conceded.
It's just about getting these two things together.
Yeah, now we're doing that. First half is pretty much all us, no matter what a game. But in the second half, we're able to ease off. Chelsea, prime example. You know, we win the game in the first half and then just ease off and play our game. Granted, we let in a goal last minute, but that was last, 30 seconds ago.
Get it done early.
But now we're playing our own game. We're not weak when we've won the game in the first half. No games won in the first half, but you know what I mean. We're beginning of the season, we were lagging. You know, we were giving cheap balls away. We were letting opposition come at us. Now we win the game early, and we play our game. We play passing, and we tend to nick the odd little late goal as well, which is a complete contrast to what we had at the beginning of the season. Which is brilliant to see, because it means that we now know what we have to do when we're well ahead, rather than having these dodgy 2-0 scorelines and conceding to last minute, you know.
Quick question for you both. Are you surprised to see Mahrez play tonight? He didn't have the best game the other night, did he?
Yeah, well.
Best player in the world, isn't he?
He's not the greatest. Look, he does a job, I can see why Pep chooses him.
Does he?
Yeah, I can see why Pep chooses him. I can see it. He offers something that he's seen training as a senior player, and he's obviously got more of a finished article than anybody else who plays there, i.e. Torres. But to play against Cambridge and be arguably the worst player on the pitch, you know, you can see that those sort of players at that standard will be like, they'll be well up for it. Be like talking in the dressing room, I'm going to do Mahrez, I'm going to have him in my pocket. He actually did have him in his pocket. He marked out a guy out of the game that, you know, we'll learn in a week what that guy might not earn in 5-6 years. You know what I mean? As a professional footballer, so it's like, come on. If he can't do it against those lads, then he deserves all the criticism he gets. Is that Mahrez?
Is that your alarm to tell you the game's on tonight?
That's
Mahrez ringing up.
No, it's our lass's sister.
I am surprised, because how many more bad games can this guy have before he starts to run down his credit in the bank for hat tricks against teams and a couple of assists against teams? You know what I mean? A couple of assists, a couple of goals, the bad performances starting to outweigh now, and my patience is worn thin with him. I don't see a future in him at the City after this season. I really don't, and I don't like putting City players down, but he shouldn't be the worst player on the pitch.
No.
He shouldn't be, and he shouldn't be slowing our team. He shouldn't be slowing our game style down. He shouldn't be doing it. He should be ruthless. He was a Premier League winner. He's come from nothing and been at the top, and he should be out there. He's got the skills. Some of the goals he scores are unbelievable. But you can't have a player that will do that for 2-3 minutes in the game and the rest of it just be a shadow. And we need somebody to contribute. Really, really do. And sad as it is to say, that goes for anybody in the team. If you're nothing, you're not contributing at all. You know, it's only a matter of time before the credit in the bank's gone, and then out you go.
If we had an out-and-out striker, he wouldn't be playing tonight, would he? We'd have we'd have somebody else in that position, wouldn't we? We'd have the striker up front, and we'd have Foden on the left and Sterling on the right, or maybe the other way around.
Well, that's it. I mean, if and when a striker's fit, he's looking at that team. He doesn't get in. He can't get in. Apart from rotation, but he can't get in on form in that team. He's not got no form.
And I'd stretch it as far as ability now. He's
even that's declining. You can tell it.
It's not declining. It's not improving. I don't think Mahrez is declining as such. I think it's his decision making is just this season, especially end of last season as well. It's atrocious. Defenders know. I could go and defend against Mahrez because I know 9 times out of 10 he's going to cut in on his left. Keep him running that way.
He really is.
Yeah, and that one time that he's going to cut in on his right, you know the cross is just going to be pinged in. You just need to get a foot in. It's so easy to defend against him.
He is the most predictable winger in the world.
Oh, God.
That's fair enough. You can be the most predictable winger in the world. Be that all day long, but there's no end product from him. Yeah. You know, if you've got the most predictable winger in the world who's cutting inside all day long and scoring 25 yarders, getting assists and stuff,
yeah,
then fair enough. Let him be predictable. Predict it, but you got to stop it. But what you see now is everybody can stop Mahrez, even a League Two left back who's semi-professional.
You watch, he'll bloody score a hat trick tonight.
No, and if he does, that'll be crediting the bank, and we'll be having this conversation for the next 6 weeks.
Tell him in January while his transfers up.
Speaking of transfers, a certain Edin Dzeko potentially coming free in the next couple of weeks. What's your thoughts on going back over old ground? It's like an old girlfriend, isn't it? Do you ever go back? Maybe for a one-nighter, but not for a long-term relationship. What do you reckon?
No. But if you was to ask me if it was a choice between Edin Dzeko and Diego Costa,
oh, great shout!
I'd choose Mahrez.
Oh, bloody hell!
I really would. I don't want. I would. Why do we need to bring a unit into play up front? We don't. It's not going to. These lads are going to take what 6 weeks to be up to speed. You can chuck them in for 10 minutes end of a game. When are we going to be in a position where our backs are against the wall? Because Pep doesn't use Plan B. He'll pass you to death until a chance comes. So we're not going to ever need like, oh, here he comes. It's not like a David James moment where they're sticking him up front and chucking everything in the kitchen sink up front. We don't need that because we've not got that in the bank. And if we started to play like that, I'd be worried. You know, if we started bringing on Dzeko in the 78th minute to get an equaliser, I'd be like, oh, I don't want that. I'd rather have the way we play.
The idea of Costa and Pep just doesn't fill me with.
Not ours, Dzeko, to be fair. I love Edin Dzeko. He's literally one of my favourite players that City have ever had. But no, sorry, mate. Your time's been and gone. Don't tarnish that. We don't need you. All the best, sort of thing.
Do one, son. That's basically what you're trying to say. Just stop being so nice about it. You don't want him.
The most worrying thing about it is there's a lot of talk from City fans. Even Micah Richards has been at it saying, "Get this player in." We don't play that way. We've never played that way. If in 2 years' time, Liam Delap's knocking around the first team, he won't be playing like an Edin Dzeko and a Diego Costa. They won't be lumping balls into him. He's just a bit. There won't be. We're never ever going to be that team. So bringing somebody in to play that for 6 months, what's the point? Why change your philosophy to bring someone in that has been in or somebody who's passed it? We don't need that. We really don't. I'd rather struggle on with Mahrez as a false number 9 and Sterling the odd game than have that. And I'm going on a bit.
You're braver man than me. I've got nothing to add there. I completely agree. Costa would just bring more pain in the ass to Pep than what he needs. And Dzeko is again. Dzeko. I still remember him for that goal he scored against QPR to level us up. That's one of the biggest memories, as well as the Spurs game. But he's 34. I know he can still knock him in, but that's in Serie A, you know, and everything's slowed down. Premier League is as physical as ever, and with fixtures left, right, and centre, it's only a matter of time before he becomes fatigued or injured, for that matter. And to bring him on, like you said, Brian, for the last 10 minutes, Pep's not going to do that. It's taken this long for Pep to bloody start making changes at the 60th minute. So he's going to end up using all his subs before that 10 minutes to go mark, and he can't bring Dzeko on then.
Those two players, Dzeko and Costa, have not played. Costa's been a free agent for a month. You know what I mean?
Because he threw his toys out the pram because Suarez joined.
Yeah, he didn't play much before that. So you're looking to rely on somebody who's not played football. First, you've got to get him fit, and he's not exactly been the fittest of players. I can imagine if he weren't a footballer, he'd be drinking 10 cans of lager and smoking 20 fags a day. He's that kind of guy, isn't he? You know what I mean? But having somebody like that to get match fit, and then put him in, and then you put him in the training sessions with the lads. What's the point in giving somebody some? It won't be ready till March. We're on the 26th of January now.
Plus,
6 weeks to be mid-March. What's happening in mid-March? We'll have 10 Premier League games left and some Champions League. He's never ever going to get a game.
plus Costa and Fernandinho absolutely hate each other. Fernandinho was on record saying put it this way, he doesn't rate him at all. He wouldn't satisfy him with a drink.
Fernandinho said that about Costa.
Yeah, and it was after that. It was a couple of days after that Chelsea game. There, Sergio got sent off as well, and Dino had a fight with. Oh, who did he put his foot? I think it was Costa actually. He put his hands around his neck. Fernandinho, if you remember it.
I do remember the event. I can't remember what happened.
Fernandinho got sent off because he was pushed into the barriers on a near touchline.
Right,
he had his hands around somebody's neck, and I think it was Costa's. But 2 days after that, it was something about talking about Costa. I don't even think he was in Chelsea's squad at the time, but he was asked a question about it, and basically he wouldn't give him a glass of water if he was dying of thirst, put it that way, with something on the line, along the line of that.
There are definitely better options to bring in. If we were in the market for a striker, and we absolutely aren't, you've got to take somebody that's ready, that's in the Premier League. You got to take somebody in the short term.
Shane Long.
Oh, it's a good shout. Somebody like that. You know what I mean? I'd rather have somebody that is.
I was joking.
Yeah, no. What? You're not joking.
I am. I was joking. Shane Long.
No, somebody who was in a Premiership team who was playing week in, week out, or training week in.
And can't score.
Neither can Mahrez. You're getting somebody who's just basically bringing that squad level a little bit higher to rely on somebody. I'm not saying Shea Long's the answer, somebody like that, but what I'm saying is, if you're going to bring someone in, it needs to be somebody who's ready, who's fit, who's been in the Premier League squad, and he's just ready to go. Can't somebody bring somebody in January to play 6 games towards the end of the season?
Shane Long's name defines how he plays a long time before he scores a goal. I was joking. Laney has a thing about bringing Shane Long in as well. Laney thinks Shane Long would be a good addition. I don't understand it.
Anyone could play up front for City, and as long as you can run, as long as you're mobile, you could play in that team. You'd get a chance.
Are we talking Shane Long for short term or long term?
No, just that sort of somebody who's
no term.
Somebody who's out of touch with it. Somebody who's out of their first team. Somebody who's not getting much games. In the Premier League, who's done nothing wrong really, but you could come in. And you're talking here scraping the bottom of the barrel because you don't need it. If you were going to do it, bring somebody in, that sort of player, plucking it from a Premier League, is better than bringing in Dzeko and Diego Costa.
Crikey, you've heard it here first, Blues. I swear to God, if we start seeing that, I think we might have just started the rumour, lads.
I hope not. Rather Christian Benteke, although he'd be a good signing.
Well, even he would be better than.
He'd be better than Shane Long.
He'd be better than Costa. He'd be better than Dzeko because he's a Premier League player. He's playing and training with Premier League players every week.
I saw that Arsenal are after your love child, Donnell Mallon.
And keep the bloody paws off it. They got rid of him from the youth academy a long time ago. But you didn't know that, did you?
Did not know that, mate. No.
No. He wasn't good enough to be in Arsenal's squad coming up through the youth, so they sold him. Now they want him back.
Hey, Tom, I know you're about to wrap things up, but before you did you watch the video Man City put out between John Stones and Ruben Dias?
Yes, the interview was brilliant, wasn't it? I don't know those two get on well together.
That you can see in that is why they are good together.
That's a connection there, isn't there?
That is a connection right there. They're best
Would
mates.
I be jealous?
Potentially, I would be. I'd be jealous as one of their wives. I put it that way.
If you haven't watched it, it's definitely worth watching because that shows why they are so good together.
What was the question? What's your best clean sheet? And it was like all of them. Like,
everyone, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, lads. Yes, please. More of that. Love that. You can just see Laporte in the background, us peering behind the window, like,
yeah,
involve me.
For me.
Here's a question for you though, both. When Laporte's fit, what about three at the back?
Oh God, no.
No.
Not with Laporte, Diaz, and Stones.
Nah.
We're going backwards in that case. Inviting too much pressure on us then.
The only way you do that is if there was some serious injuries to the midfield.
Yeah, it seems, everything seems to be working at the moment. Hopefully, in a couple of hours' time, we could be saying the same thing because we have 35 minutes to kick off. I'm nervous now.
Yeah, by the way, I don't like 8:15 kickoffs.
No, it's sent me right off.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Yeah, I'm completely in agreement with that. I quite, do you know what I said the other week? I said I didn't really enjoy the 6 o'clock one, but actually I did because I got inside and it was like 7, 8 o'clock. I was like, oh right, I also got a bit of time to watch Lupin or whatever I'm watching at the minute.
Those kickoff times are interesting because the way the TV deal is going now, they're going to push for that because they're going to show how successful they are for the markets.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at La Liga, they very rarely have 2 games on at the same time. You know, they have kickoffs staggered throughout the day. The way the lockdown is now was showed that the Premier League is able to cope with 6 o'clock kickoffs, 7:30 kickoffs, 8:15. You know, squeezing 3 games in one night.
Yeah.
They've shown that, and I wouldn't be surprised if within start of next season you'll see the Premier League selling those slots because obviously they sell those slots, don't they? They would probably reintroduce another 8 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday night, and you know 6 o'clocks on a Tuesday for non-Champions League teams. You know, to try and fill that gap because there's not many games. You know, when there's no Champions League game on a Tuesday or Wednesday at 6, Premier League will look to fill those slots.
Yeah,
just for the market. The TV money is there, and if you can get more games spread out, COVID's shown they can do it.
I used to hate the late night kickoffs on a Wednesday night and a Tuesday night, but I tell you, I'd take anything at this point. I'd take a 10 o'clock at night kickoff if it could be able to go back to the ground without an absolute heartbeat.
I loved it. There was always something special about midweek 8 p.m. because obviously we live I live at the other side at Pennines, so leaving work at about 5 o'clock bang on, making a trip across the Pennines, running to the ground because it took us 3 hours to bloody get there.
Over
and
the
then
M60.
Yeah, exactly. And by the time you get back home, it's about midnight, 1 o'clock. It's the best feeling in the world.
Running for the last train or
No, luckily, my stepdad's a quality driver, so he always gets to stay on time after a little bit of a sprint.
Yeah, I generally think we're going to be looking at an area where those sort of fixed times are going to come in more frequently. And I'm all for it.
Yeah, we're sort of seeing that now, though, aren't we? With these staggered days, Tuesdays are now starting to get more Premier League games. Obviously, Monday night football has always been a preference.
Urges have been sticking games on every night, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think it is right, you know. But I suppose that's a good thing, really, for me, because albeit some teams are going to have arguments because one team could be playing Wednesday, another team could be playing Monday, and then both face each other on a Sunday. You know, one team's got 2 extra days more, but that's the only argument against it. But at the same time, they're going to have equal amount of days spread out because they've got to have so many days by law from FIFA in between each game over the course of an average throughout the season.
Yeah, it swings and roundabouts, doesn't it? You can get you can get 5 games in 15 days, and then you can only have 3 in 20 the next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, boys, we're going to wrap this up. We've got kick-off in 32 minutes. We need to prepare for that. We've got your score predictions. Come on, City. Let's get a good professional win under our belt, please, and make me happy for this evening.
And let's get to the top of the table.
Oh, top of the table. Top of the table sounds nice. We just need to keep chipping away, don't we? We just need to keep going and keep going. United play tomorrow night. Let's get a top of the league. But tonight's a big game. Sam Allardyce knows exactly what he's going to be doing tonight, and we know exactly what Sam Allardyce is going to be doing tonight as well, which worries me. Let's get in there. Let's get a goal. Let's get right at him. Come on, City. Right, boys. Thank you very much.
No worries at all. Take care, everyone.
See you later, lads. See you in a bit.